humbling. I understand that I'm before a large part of the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development folks. These are the easiest groups for me to mingle with and be a part of as a businessman. One of the first things that I did when I bought my business in Hendersonville is I went and joined the Chamber of Commerce. And I largely credit my service in the Chamber of Commerce to helping lead me to this point now to serve in public office. As a business person, very early on, I recognized what takes place in Raleigh and what takes place in Washington, D.C. has a dramatic effect on businesses and our ability to provide for our employees and our vendors and our customers and meet all the government requirements of businesses. And so I started paying attention more than I ever had to what was going on in Washington, D.C. and Raleigh. And as you're probably aware, Western North Carolina Chambers of Commerce put together a coalition and they travel to Raleigh about once a year. Is McDowell a part of that? Has anybody here been to Raleigh on one of those chamber trips? Okay, all right, yeah, good to see you there. And so on one of these trips to Raleigh, advocating for business policies, we were walking back to the hotel late at night, and we had just heard from one of our representatives that they were going to retire. And they said, we're putting the business community on notice that we're looking for our replacement. Well, walking back to the hotel late that night, from a restaurant, there was a group of folks pounced on me and said, we think you ought to run for office. You should do this. What do you think? And I said, I think you're a nut. I'm not a politician. I'm like you. I'm a businessman. And so the moral of that story, I feel compelled as a public servant to give you full disclosure and notice and make you aware that when you're walking back at night to your hotel, you should not walk alone. Because they travel in packs. And they will convince you to do things that you might not do otherwise. And so